I want to compare and contrast the Alatreon in current Monster Hunter Iceborne with the previous Alatreon in Monster Hunter Tri, or Monster Hunter 3. This is the Alatreon in Monster Hunter Tri, which is its theme song. The game makers of Monster Hunter series, Capcom, have been fairly faithful in maintaining certain traditions in Monster Hunter games, but giving us limited but traditional updates that promote our interest and continue playing the game. Because of this, long-term players don't like change, and that conflicts with newer players who expect a more modern gameplay. Playing Monster Hunter on the Nintendo Wii was different than comparing to playing on PlayStation 4, and even more different playing on computer version of Monster Hunter World. This is the Alatreon in Monster Hunter Iceborne with its theme song. I'm going to be focused on strategy, monster attacks, character skills, comparing current Alatreon fight in Iceborne to Alatreon fight in Monster Hunter 3. First, let's start with the Wii Monster Hunter version of Alatreon. The title of the quest was Brilliant Darkness, which obviously is an oxymoron. I suspect that there was an inaccurate word translation from Japanese to English, and it might well have completely different meaning in Japanese, but who knows. Apparently, you can play this game now if you have a Nintendo Wii at an offline mode, and online gameplay has been unavailable for a long time. I haven't played the game since it moved offline 7 years ago. When starting Monster Hunter Tri, I forgot about the bouncing blocks that occur during the quest loading. As I recall, the quest loaded faster on the Wii compared to the PlayStation 4. Well, I did get a SSD drive on my PlayStation 4 last year, which markedly speeds up the load time. When the quest begins, you see a burning boulder falling off a lava fall. You enter into a vast, mostly empty area of the Sacred Land. Alatreon is waiting for you. What makes this Alatreon unique is that she has all 4 elemental attacks, so buffing up for one with a single elemental resistance does no good. She switches quickly between elemental attacks. Initially, on the ground, she'll utilize both fire and dragon of them. While in flight, she can use ice and thunder. In this example video, I show typical use of different weapons against Alatreon. I'm using the longsword, the spirited attacks against the hind legs. This was probably the most damaging weapon to Alatreon when used in combination with other weapons. Theox, who recorded the video, used a lance, which is great for stopping Alatreon running back and forth between the opposing edges of the area. This rushing attack gave large dragon damage. She would finish off the rush attack with an upward movement of her horns. If you stayed out in front of her, she throws out a fireball or uses her front legs to claw at you. She'd also jump backwards, then spin and fly up into the air. The flying mode was even more frustrating. She throws lightning into the front, on the ground, or in rage targets one person with 3 lightning attacks. She also has a blizzard attack, which is pretty much harmless following icicles. When coming back down the ground, she drops lightning bolts all around, mostly random, but some will be targeted. The third weapon used in the quest was a greatsword by Boost, which was also high damage, but best suited for tail cutting. The fourth player, Echo, used the most skill of the quest, because he could knock out the monster with a hammer, which halted her constant attacks for a moment, giving the other players the chance to do uninterrupted damage. After Alatreon made her charge, she turned around and bends her head down, and then in that instant the hammer uses, which should be ready, with a triple pound. When she jumps back with a fireball, she sometimes holds still as if to say, "Look at me," but gives a brief opportunity for a hammer attack. Finally, after a forward lightning bolt, there's a brief moment her head lowers for a hammer attack. Alatreon can be flashed to the ground, but only when not enraged. For armor skills, you had only limited choice at any one time in playing the game, so you chose quite carefully. Two of the players in this video have earplugs, since it was a limited opportunity to get the big hits. You didn't want a roar preventing you from getting it. I was using Scholar Armor, which as I recall had Evasion 2, which was a coveted skill in Monster Hunter 3. Scholar Armor reminded me of formal uniform dress in school. What the Japanese coders were thinking of when they designed female school children armor, I wouldn't want to guess. But for all the reasons I can think of, they're not good. Felix is constantly using kills and seeds for buffs, which is a sign of a good hunter. Earlier versions of Monster Hunter had negative armor skills, like Blunt Edge. Skills were defined changing in intervals of 10 points usually, so Felix's armor would have minus 11 sharpness, which triggered Blunt Edge, a skill that caused weapon sharpness to be lost faster. The trick was to place a deco with a few positive points to get sharpness greater than minus 10, and then Blunt Edge was no longer active. In Monster Hunter Tri, you had only potions and other items that you could carry with you on the quest. There was no tent to go back to like in Iceborne, where you could have unlimited potions during your quest. While this video was the traditional approach to Alatreon, many people were frustrated with 3 faint quests, and they turned to sleep bombing, which was very effective but also very boring. You could get your very rare Sky Piercer reward most reliably this way. Another easy way to kill Alatreon was to use cluster bombing. There's a ledge you would climb up onto, and for the most part, not touchable by Alatreon. Within a few minutes of raining her with cluster bombs, the quest was over. Really boring, but did work great for the really desperate player who needed to get their Alatreon parts. I'll move on to Alatreon and Iceborne before showing you the end of the Monster Hunter 3 Alatreon fight. I'll return at the end of my YouTube video to this Monster Hunter Tri Alatreon quest, which has a very unexpected ending. You might be trying to guess what the ending might be while I go through the features of Iceborne Alatreon. I'm trying to bait you to watch the whole video to the very end. Don't you dare jump forward, skipping the rest of my YouTube to see the epic ending. So let's move on to Iceborne. You have a challenge quest you must complete before regular event Alatreon quest is available. The event quest comes in different names, which is a clue to which element form the Alatreon starts as. There's been a major departure from Monster Hunter tradition in Iceborne with the introduction of elemental damage milestones in the Alatreon's fight. If you don't reach this elemental damage milestone, then you are in multiplayer mode. You're going to fail the quest, regardless of whatever else you do. So how do you fail? It's called the Eskimo's judgment. But what is being judged? You are being judged on whether you've met the elemental damage milestone. It's like you're guilty or innocent. If you're a little short of the milestone, you're guilty, and the quest will be a failure. You will face a Nova in about 5 to 7 minutes, and if the DPS milestone is not made, you and your co-players will faint due to the Nova, regardless of what you do. So it's critically important to know damage doesn't count against the milestone unless you move past it with elemental damage. This change in game strategy has really bothered a lot of Monster Hunter players who've been accustomed to high raw damage weapons like more Sophy blast weapons, killing the monster fairly quickly. People complain their weapons that they've depended on for such a long time no longer are viable against Alatreon. They're also surprised they've not been given the essentially infinite number of healing potions available during the Alatreon quest. People say the removal of the Farcaster function makes the fight seem artificially difficult. I obviously did not play previous versions of Monster Hunter where there were no replacement potion items in camp. They are also accustomed to be able to dodge the monster somehow to prevent defeat. Even in the case of Behemoth, there was a dodge for the ultimate attack. Another common complaint is quests that should be completable without some sort of DPS check midway. Those people forget Master Hunt Clues also had a DPS check. Falling short, Clue escaped. I've seen a fair amount of whining about this change online. It is what it is, and you have to deal with it. In some ways, you should have sympathy with the complainers. Many of them report like 20 failed attempts and no success. I think my success was on try 6, which was humbling. A friend sent me a link to somebody applying to change.org for Capcom to change the Alatreon quest. Like you do not. There is a controversy about which element to use. In previous Iceborne quests, one could ignore elemental damage, since raw damage was the king. Now specific elemental damage is critical. Fire Alatreon is weak to the counter-opposing ice element damage, but you will cycle back and forth between fire and dragon mode as long as one of the horns is broken after the switch. So some people say that all members should use the counter-opposing element in their weapon, planning on breaking both horns and killing the Alatreon before finishing the third elemental cycling phase. Alatreon only spends a short time in dragon mode, means that most of the time the counter-opposing elemental weapon is effective. Other people argue that using mixed weapon like dragon or water attack weapon, which causes elemental damage in all cycling phases, is a good strategy, since it does not require breakage of horns. In both ways, you're walking along the edge of a cliff. First way, there's only 2 chances of missteps: not breaking each Alatreon horn that causes you to fall off the cliff. The second way, with intermediate but consistently less effective elemental weapons, you have more chances of missteps. In my experience, the intermediate elemental weapons take several minutes longer to complete the quest compared to using the first strategy with counter-opposing elemental weapons. It's my impression, if you can complete the quest with an intermediate elemental weapon, then you are at least equal or not better than those who use the first strategy of consistently breaking the horns, and you should move to using the counter-opposing elemental weapons. What I don't like is people getting dogmatic, saying that one of these strategies is so much better than the other that they reject the other. These people will be limited by playing with only like-minded people. The players are really good and wanting to get the quest done as fast as possible, but they should just use straight, non-elemental, pierce, heavy bow gun, which, if used by 4 people, kills the Alatreon before reaching a milestone in just under 4 minutes. Cajun Hunter recently described the math behind all these strategies in his YouTube. You should watch it to get more detail. I suspect after looking at his numbers, the best strategy for an organized Alatreon hunt will be a mixture of counter-opposing elemental weapons that are just strong enough to meet the elemental milestone, mixed with strong raw damage weapons to kill her as early as possible. That's what's interesting about Monster Hunter. Strategies change over time. A good example of this is my previous YouTube explaining the difference between the Devil Joe hunt in Monster Hunter 3 and Devil Joe hunt in Monster Hunter World. Monster Hunter 3 Devil Joe I showed was the World Eater variant and was unusually big. For weeks, people complained that he was not killable with their lances, greatswords, and hammers that they were accustomed to use, because his feet were only hittable. His body and head were too high. But after a while, the strategy changed to using Pierce heavy bowgun, as I showed in my video, which reduced the time to completion to a couple minutes. I think Capcom has done a great job in execution of the rewrite of the Alatreon quest in Iceborne compared to previous versions, since this controversy over choice of elemental weapons has generated so much discussion. Controversy is good. You know you've reached the elemental milestone when you get a massive flinch on her and the NPC tells you you're doing a great job. So moving on to Alatreon's attacks. Alatreon has a bunch of tiny, apparently non-elemental attacks with headbutts, claws, tail swipes. Like Alatreon in Tri, she charges forward. The elemental attacks are much more varied and beautiful in Iceborne compared to Tri. Alatreon's ice attacks occur as icicles shot at you, either horizontal or vertical arcs. The second attack is a big ice funnel spray that extends so far that moving at a right angle to the spray is your only hope. The third attack is coating the ceiling with ice above her, causing icicles to periodically drop to the ground. And the fourth ice attack is jumping up in the air, spraying a massive circle of ice below her. Her first thunder attack is a lot like Karen, where she switches her head in a motion, creates a line of lightning. She'll do this either 2 or 3 times in a row on a specific player, either vertically or horizontally. The second attack is where she flicks herself backwards and then fires out a horizontal line of electricity in front of her that slowly progresses forward, exploding as it moves. The third thunder attack is a room-wide storm attack. There are 2 fire attacks. The release of 3 lines in front of her. The second is a spit out of an expanding ring of explosions. It's counterintuitive, but jumping to the center of that ring is the safest place since you're not hit by the expanding ring. There's a dragon attack when she exits an attack from another element mid-air following charging towards you. In contrast to Try, where all the weapons were viable, in Iceborne, choice is much more limited. There's dual blades, which are currently the most popular, and do a lot of elemental damage in a very short period of time. The glaive is also used frequently because the user can avoid Alatreon's attacks. Here people are using long swords, lances, hammers, and bows. In general, slow animation weapons are not going to work well against Alatreon. Also in this hunt, since you cannot go back to camp to get replacement ammo, the heavy and light bow guns are difficult to use. But I've had good luck with the Alatreon light bow gun, which shoots all elemental rounds. The Kajara weapon line that comes equipped with critical element is really a good choice. When you're aiming your attack and can't hit the head, then attack the front legs or back legs, which is safer. For ranged players, elemental ammo is your best bet at shooting at the wings. When she is knocked down, everybody should focus on the head. During the dragon phase, you may consider using your temporal mana so you can safely attempt clutch claw attacks. Using sleep is not practical, as in Monster Hunter 3, since Alatreon sleeps only once, maybe twice, according to some, but not worth it. The rewards are not difficult to get in Iceborne Alatreon. The rare one was in my reward box on the second unsuccessful hunt. In contrast, Alatreon in Monster Hunter 3, Sky Piercer was very rare, which required a grind to get. Another big difference is player number scaling. In Iceborne, 1 player has to do far less damage than 4 players to complete the quest, but is greater than 4-fold less. In Monster Hunter 3, there was no scaling, so soloing Alatreon took a while, even for the most skilled players. The Iceborne Alatreon quest is very engaging. It appears tiring to many players. They do the quest, they go do something else for 10 minutes or so to rest. I have a limited time to play, with work, and all day everything else. So I will be keeping going one quest, one after the other, even though it's stressing and tiring. The Alatreon quest has caused many people to restyle their gameplay, craft new weapons, make new armor sets, all attempts to match and overcome the Alatreon. There have been 2 responses to this challenge. One, people getting frustrated, complaining, with some of them walking away. But the other people are going back to the drawing board, relearning, making new armors and weapons. I think a lot of people thought they could just simply fly in, use their in-game weapons, which they've been so successful with up till now, and in a short time kill Alatreon a bunch of times, and then after crafting her armor and weapons, walk away, waiting for the next release. Those people were surprised. So let's get back to the teaser ending of Monster Hunter Try, Alatreon game. So we've been all blasting away Alatreon for some time. No feints, like pros. Alatreon finishes her airborne attack and is set to land. Just above the ground, she falls immediately from the sky, dead. It wasn't apparent at first look how she died. Alatreon will have full strength, and change behavior to the very end without a sign of impending death. But if you look closely, Echo with the hammer user just at the right moment super pounded her as her feet were just above the ground, resulting in a dramatic, epic ending. This was so impressive, Theox, that he uploaded the video to YouTube. So that's my comparison of Alatreon and Monster Hunter Tri and Iceborne. As Monster Hunter has been a traditional-based game, there's lots of similarities between the two. Alatreon really looks the same as it did 8 years ago. Although graphics have dramatically improved, there's still 4 hunters, 1 carry of potions and items, same elements and speed in Alatreon's attacks. The differences are new strategies are required, more limited weapon choice, and dramatic, beautiful graphics of the elemental attack animations. So that's it, folks.